thank all your witnesses for your participation in today's hearing. I hope this hearing, I have found it helpful in shedding light on the human impact of our broken immigration system. A lot of references have been made today about the quote-unquote situation at the southern border, where the reality is numbers are way down compared to just a couple of months ago. This hearing is in context of broader discussions and negotiations going on about immigration reform. If there's a question about whether or not Democrats are willing to discuss border security, let me answer it now. The answer is yes, as long as it's smart and driven by data and experience, and we know specifically at the ports of entry is where the vast majority of the security concerns are, and any border security elements of a single bill, multiple bills should be driven by that. But let me be clear. The questions, concerns raised about people approaching the southern border today, tonight, or in recent months is a population very much separate and apart from dreamers, TPS holders, and other long-term immigrant residents of this country who have been living here, have been working here, have been contributing to the economic success and resiliency of the country. That's why the Dream and Promise Act was approved by the United States House of Representatives on a bipartisan basis, because people across the aisle recognize that. I also want to make a quick comment about one of the questions or concerns, if I'm generous here, about the numbers are growing. Well, as we said repeatedly today, the DACA program was put in place 9 years ago. And when it was put in place, it did recognize folks that came through no fault of their own, children brought here by their parents. And so when the program was put in place, there was a sort of a look-back date set for people who had been here prior to a certain year. The reason the numbers change is because that year has changed, because 9 years later, Congress still hasn't done its job. And so we shouldn't be surprised that we're now talking about a larger number of people who still fit the same criteria established in DACA many years later, because the dynamic has continued, and also highlighting the distinction between folks who might have been eligible to apply for DACA versus those who actually did apply for DACA, given their courage, as we have, again, heard here today from our witnesses. So with that, I want to thank again all the witnesses for your participation and your testimony today, and for highlighting once again the urgency for Congress to act. And turn it back now to Chairman of the committee, Senator Durbin.